This is Nissan Romford, home of Glyn Hopkin. And this is Nissan Motor Manufacturing in Sunderland, home and birthplace of the Qashqai. And I'll be taking on an almost 600-mile journey in one of the nation's favourite SUVs from Romford to Sunderland and back without stopping to refuel. Can the Qashqai make it? Let's find out. Now, the Nissan Qashqai has been known to be a very practical SUV, one of the many reasons why it remains in the top 5 best-selling cars in the UK. And one of its standout features, its hybrid powertrain, e-Power, which has just had an upgrade. You see, e-Power almost sets the hybrid world alight. Think of it as a reinvented hybrid system, defying ordinary and certainly wanting to stand out. Because what lies under here is a 1.5 litre petrol engine twinned with an electric battery and motor. And here's where things get pretty clever, because that petrol engine technically doesn't power the 4 wheels. It merely acts solely as a power generator, charging the electric motor, giving it an EV-like driving experience. So you could say the Qashqai is like an unplugged electric vehicle. However, unlike an EV, you certainly won't have range anxiety, because the road trip I'm doing today certainly shows how capable of an SUV the Qashqai truly is. Now, before we officially start this monumental road trip to see where the Qashqai is born, I just want to point out the current state of affairs with the fuel tank. Now, we currently sit on 666 miles. Now, Nissan claim that the Qashqai can travel up to 759 miles with that new e-Power technology, as well as accessing 62 miles per gallon in the process, which is actually an increase of 10 from the previous e-Power system. Now, I think it's about time we hit the road. The more I think about this challenge, the more I'm almost questioning my decisions. Almost driving the length of the country and back. What was I thinking? Ridiculous idea, yes, but at least it's in a car which will only ever make you feel at ease. That's because the Nissan Qashqai is an inexplicably safe SUV. Yes, big word I know, because it has achieved the maximum 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating, and that is helped by Nissan's ProPilot technology, meaning you get intelligent cruise control, intelligent lane keep assist, blind spot detection, hill start assist, intelligent emergency braking. It's all rather smart. And what also makes the Qashqai feel a little bit like a show-off is the inclusion of 360 parking cameras and even full auto park. Once you're parked and having a little rest stop on the long road trip, then your mind will also be at ease knowing that you won't run out of data, because the Qashqai comes with an in-car Wi-Fi hotspot. Now, we're about 200 miles into this monumental road trip, a great time to have a bit of rest stop and grab a coffee. Now, unlike myself, the Qashqai doesn't need to refuel, because we've still got almost 440 miles in the tank. So you'll be having a rest stop with peace of mind. What also gives you peace of mind is the fact that adding to that incredible safe nature of the Qashqai, then it includes a stolen vehicle tracker, and that is accessed through the Nissan Connect Services app. In here, you can lock and unlock your car, monitor your vehicle health, and remotely use the horn and lights. And it can even access your smart home devices, with the Qashqai housing Amazon Alexa in the 12.3-inch infotainment screen. Now, speaking of coffee, if we portray how impressive Nissan's e-Power technology is, if a standard hybrid powertrain is a greasy spoon instant coffee, then e-Power will be a premium latte. Uses the same components, but used differently to get a premium outcome. Now, what I really enjoy about this hybrid SUV is it doesn't necessarily feel like a family vehicle, with its pretty instant torque and rather responsive performance. Now, the Nissan Qashqai has a maximum 0 to 60 time of 7.9 seconds with new e-Power technology. As a matter of fact, if you actually put it in sport mode, then that increases to 7.6 with an 11 kilowatt power boost. You also get 313 Newton meters of torque, as well as 205 PS power output. The Qashqai certainly isn't sluggish. Slow, no. Premium, most certainly. Mid-spec Qashqais will come with Alcantara and synthetic interior, with top specs feeling ever so bougie. Quilted premium leather along with heated seats and steering wheel, head-up display and full panoramic sunroof come in with those higher specs. The middle of the range, the end design, even comes with two-tone paint, wireless phone charger and ambient lighting.
The interior certainly has that feel-good factor, and so does its exterior look, with this striking Japanese armour-inspired grille, a new addition to the latest Qashqai, that's enclosed by LED headlights and daytime running lights. You get 17-inch alloy wheels from standard, all the way to chunky 20-inch diamond cut alloy wheels. The Qashqai has always had a particular identity about it, and dare I say, the designs just keep getting better and better.
It is designed in Paddington, engineered in Cranfield, and built in Sunderland, which is obviously where we are going. Now obviously the Nissan Qashqai has a rather impressive, extensive and practical mile range, meaning I can do this type of road trip on one tank of petrol and without needing to wake up early tomorrow morning or beat the rush hour traffic to the petrol station. And that is massively helped by two buttons in the centre console, one being EV, the other E-pedal. Now the EV button is pretty self-explanatory. You push that and the car will mainly utilise that electric motor, meaning the Qashqai essentially turns into an electric SUV. As for E-pedal, now that's a bit more impressive, because essentially what it does is allows for one pedal drive. That means when you take your foot off the accelerator and slightly ease off, then the car will naturally brake for you. And while that's on, when you take your foot off the accelerator, then you can see on your left dial on that digital dash, the dial going into the blue zone. Now essentially that means that petrol engine is recharging that battery, and you can see on the icon the battery being recharged. The fact you can see that in real time, I think it's quite comforting to know that you're getting that extensive mile range and also knowing what's going on. I'm impressed.
And the Qashqai just kept going and going effortlessly, all the way to the halfway stage, Sunderland.
Yes, stage one is complete and the Qashqai still has plenty of fuel left in the tank. Now this is quite a lengthy road trip and certainly requires a night stopover and some luggage, which the Nissan Qashqai is certainly capable of storing plenty, because underneath your automatic tailgate you have 504 litres of boot capacity. Just the two of you, drop them rear seats and that raises to over 1,400 litres. So we got her in one piece and still no need to do a petrol station trip. So I think it's time for a well-earned rest.
As day 2 started and before we made the return leg down the A1 to Romford, we thought it was only right to see where the Qashqai is born. Nissan Motor Manufacturing UK. Nissan's 799-acre site. Spanning more than 50 football fields, it has the capacity to produce up to 600,000 cars per year. It is a monumental feat of innovation and engineering, being the UK's single largest car manufacturing plant. And we were fortunate enough to be granted access to see this large-scale operation in progress.
This is where the engine gets married up into the Qashqai. Underneath this conveyor belt you have the Qashqai suspended from the ceiling. The engine then gets lifted from the bottom into the Qashqai chassis. This station right here, what we're currently seeing, is where the e-power battery is fitted to the chassis of the Qashqai. It's a rather meticulous system. This whole factory has been thought out to the 9th degree. Every piece, every part of this puzzle is all there in place to make it one of the most efficient chassis lines and production systems in the motoring history.
Nissan have invested over £1 billion into crafting the Qashqai in the UK, expanding their Sunderland team to over 6,000. A monumental feat of efficiency, which sees the Qashqai undergo almost 1,000 quality checks.
In here you even have a simulator for 24 hours worth of range to make sure the Qashqai doesn't have any leaks. Perfect for the British summertime. And behind me, the finished article. This is the final inspection bay before these Nissan Qashqais with new e-power technology are rolled out onto UK roads. As a matter of fact, in this very factory, over 4.5 million Qashqais have been born and rolled out onto the UK roads since 2006. That's actually one every 2.5 minutes for the past 19 years.
Resulting in this award-winning crossover SUV representing 1 in 5 of all cars built in Britain since its launch.
And seeing that process of how the Qashqai is built and crafted and brought to life onto the UK roads only reflects in the car itself, because there's so much attention to detail. It's been meticulously crafted, it's been thought out, it's a streamlined process. and that has led to a best-in-class and multi-award-winning SUV, which is streamlined in its looks, has a rather meticulous hybrid powertrain, and a real touch of quality. And that touch of quality isn't necessarily reflected in the price tag. The prices of the Qashqai start at just over £30,000, prices for the e-Power variants just over 34. And even from that base spec, you're still getting 12.3-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, rear view camera, digital dash, and them advanced driver safety features in that ProPilot technology. So base spec or top spec, then you're still going to enjoy your road trip. And I'm certainly enjoying this one. We're on the final leg, the return trip from Sunderland to Romford. So we've almost travelled over 300 miles currently, and we still have plenty in the tank. And I don't think we actually need to refuel on the way home. Imagine that, doing that lengthy road trip on just one tank of petrol. You don't have to get up early to beat the traffic. You don't have to stop off and pay over the odds for fuel at a service station. You can do it at your local one up the road, and you're sorted.
And as we embarked on the tiresome long stretch down the A1, it was a great time to sit back and relax and really utilise Nissan's ProPilot technology.
What you can also sit back and relax about is the Qashqai's reliability, because with it housing that new e-Power technology, the Nissan have actually upped the service interval to 12,500 miles, knowing it's capable of achieving that without actually having any problems with it. Along with 3 years or 60,000 miles of warranty, you can have peace of mind in the entire ownership of your new Qashqai.
And for any eco-conscious people out there, then this will be music to your ears, because this hybrid SUV has seen a 12% decrease in its CO2 emissions with this further enhanced powertrain.
So we've almost made it back on that round trip, this extensive road trip in the Qashqai. And what do I think of it? Well, for starters, we're only 5 miles away from Nissan Romford, home of Glyn Hopkin, which is off 34 miles in the tank. We've done an almost 600-mile journey without the need to fill up with petrol. And the journey has been more than comfortable. At no point have I got bored of the Qashqai, with that e-Power technology allowing for an almost EV-like driving experience. Then it has meant it's been responsive, it's been performative, all the tech that you need and more. It's been safe. I've utilised that Nissan ProPilot technology, which for a long drive is absolutely ideal. The fact that it'll keep you in the centre of the lane, it will naturally slow down. I will actually stop the traffic, so it's not uncomfortable drive in any sense. It actually looks nice on the outside. It feels like you're driving a premium SUV. So yes, it's a long road trip. Yes, I'm ready for a coffee and a sleep. However, Qashqai, a brilliant driving experience. And there we have it. We have made it. Nissan Romford to Sunderland and back on one tank of petrol. All thanks to the Qashqai e-Power.